to make this video to share my guinea pigs' babies because they're really cute, but also just to give a bit of a rundown of what it was like the week before she gave birth, the birthing process itself, and then the first week with the baby guinea pigs too. I thought that this video might be helpful because I had a lot of questions and I was a little bit concerned and worried about what was normal and what wasn't, and hopefully this video will be helpful to have a little bit of an idea of what to expect. I'll start with the week leading up to the birth. So during the week up to her giving birth, when I would hold her, I would feel a lot of kicking. Like these guys were really active. Maybe like the 4 days before she gave birth, you could even feel the babies grinding their teeth as well and chattering their teeth. And the day before she gave birth, she slowed down a little bit, so she was still eating and drinking. She was a bit different. Her personality was a little bit different. She wasn't as friendly with me when she gave birth. It was about 11:45 at night. I didn't hear a thing. I went in and I looked in the cage and I saw that there was a little white baby and she was kind of like trying to pull something out, and I was like, oh my gosh, she is giving birth. And in about 30 minutes, she had given birth to all 3 of the pups. And interestingly, the smallest one was born first and then the largest one was born last. There was a little bit of blood, but not an awful lot. It kind of just all got absorbed into the towel that was underneath her. But then lastly, after she had her last pup, she had the kind of like red sack of stuff. I know there's a word for it, but I don't know it. Came out, and then she was eating that. Babies were all suckling not long after birth, and she was attentive to them, looking after them. I didn't interfere or touch them or anything at this point in time. I just let mum kind of do her thing and lick them and everything. Day 1, the babies were fairly quiet. They didn't really venture far from where they were born, and they just kind of hung around their mum and were suckling regularly, and mum was licking their bottoms. And mum was back to her old self. She was inquisitive, drinking and eating with the babies hanging off her most of the time. Day 2, the babies became a little bit more active and explorative. So they would tend to follow their mum around, and they were pretty much always suckling. Like every few minutes they would be doing that. One of them in particular, the biggest one, the back legs seemed like a little bit weak when he or she would move around, but they did strengthen over time. All of their legs kind of strengthened once they started using them and walking around, which was like between day 1 and 2. They also, within the first 1 to 2 days, began to nibble at some bits of hay, but they weren't really eating it. They were kind of just more curious and looking at it. And I took them out to weigh them between day 1 and 2, and they were 82 grams, 84 grams, and 92 grams. Then by day 3, they were a lot more interested and aware of their environment and surroundings. They would kind of check out the other guinea pigs. They were walking around. They were also more fearful and reactive towards me. So if I put my hand in there, sometimes they would run away. I also began noticing them drinking from the water bottle on day 3, and they were kind of consuming the hay more and still suckling mostly, like every 10 to 15 minutes, and following their mum around and staying close to her. Day 4 to 7 is when they became increasingly more active, and they were exploring a lot and popcorning, doing all those guinea pig things. The mum was still attentive, but she was getting a little bit less patient with them. She was more willing to do her own thing and just kind of walk away from them. So they were putting on average about 10 grams a day. They also started eating vegetables as well as the hay quite regularly. On day 4, just kind of nibbling the vegetables a little bit, and each day progressively eating more and more. I started noticing a lot of little poos around the place as well, and they would still suckle, but not as frequently. They were a lot more independent and willing to spend time on their own. And on day 7, they were 116 grams, 119 grams, and 120 grams. Day 7 plus, they have pretty much been acting like normal guinea pigs. I extended the cage a little bit to give them more room and to give mum more space from them too. They will still suckle every now and then, but they're very ferocious eaters. They'll eat a lot of food, like a lot of the veggies and stuff like that, and a lot of hay, and they're a lot less reliant on their mum basically. And they're willing to kind of spend time on their own as well. So in a week's time, I'll be getting all of their genders confirmed because it can be a bit difficult to know before they're 2 weeks of age. And what I will do is let them stay with their mum until they're 3 weeks and then separate them as needed. so that we don't get any more babies. That is it for the first week of life for my baby guinea pigs. I hope that you found this video to be helpful, and let me know in the comments down below if you've got any questions or anything else that you think I could have mentioned in this video. And if your guinea pig is having babies, I wish them a very safe birth. I hope the process goes well. Remember, just always get a vet involved if you're worried or concerned about what is going on. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of this type of content, please feel free to subscribe to my video and to subscribe to my channel, sorry. And I will see you in the next video.